My father came to South Africa with nothing dangerous. No weapon. No agenda. No plan to take anything from anyone. He came with his hands, his mind, his willingness to work in a country that his own country told him had opportunity. He is gone now, not from illness, not from old age, not from anything that has a peaceful name. He was killed, in a country that his ancestors helped build, by people whose ancestors stood on the same soil as his, centuries before anyone drew a line and called it a border. This video is for him, and for every family that received a phone call they were never supposed to receive. Before I say anything else, I need to say one thing directly to South Africa. Not to all of you. Not to the majority who go about their lives without hatred in their hands. To the specific people who have decided that an African from another country is the reason their life is hard. Your anger is real. The unemployment is real. The inequality is real. The broken promises of 30 years of democracy are real. You were told freedom was coming, and freedom came. And somehow, you are still waiting for it to arrive at your door. That pain is real, but you aimed it at the wrong person. Here's what they never taught you in school. The Zulu and the Zimbabwean share blood older than Zimbabwe. The Xhosa and the Mozambican share ancestors older than Mozambique. The Sotho and the Malawian carry the same genetic story in their bones. 3,000 years ago, a group of people began moving from what is now Cameroon and Nigeria. Slowly. Generation by generation, century by century. They moved south, they moved east. They carried language and fire and farming knowledge and iron tools and the specific way of organizing a community that would eventually become the foundation of every Bantu culture on this continent. They were not South African. They were not Zimbabwean. They were not Zambian or Malawian or Mozambican. Those names did not exist. The land did not have lines. The people moved across it the way water moves, following what was possible, settling where life could be sustained, moving again when it couldn't. Your great-great-great-grandmother did this. She crossed what you now call a border, without papers, without permission, without a home affairs queue. She just moved, because the land was shared, because the concept of a foreigner had not yet been invented for her. That concept, foreigner, arrived with ships. In 1884, men in suits sat in Berlin. Not one of them had been to southern Africa. Not one of them had stood on the soil they were about to divide. They drew lines on a map, with rulers, in straight lines, through communities, through families, through languages, through the living geography of people who had organized their world entirely differently. And those lines became borders, and borders became countries, and countries became identities. And identities became the reason a man from Zimbabwe is called a foreigner, in a country his ancestors walked through freely for 1,000 years. The line that separates South Africa from Zimbabwe, from Mozambique, from Malawi, from Zambia, that line is 140 years old. The shared ancestry is 3,000 years old. You are defending a line that is younger than your grandmother's grandmother, against people who are older than the line itself. Now I want to speak to the South African mother, the one I imagine, the one who maybe doesn't throw stones herself, but whose silence makes space for the ones who do. You told your children that foreigners are taking the jobs. But here is what is true. South Africa has one of the most unequal economies on earth, not because of Zimbabweans, because of what apartheid built and what post-apartheid failed to dismantle. The person who owns the mine is not from Zimbabwe. The person who set your salary is not from Malawi. The person who decided your neighborhood would never have the same infrastructure as the suburb across the highway. That person is not a foreign national sleeping in an informal settlement. The foreigner did not do this to you. And burning his shop does not fix what was done to you. It just means 2 families are destroyed instead of 1. Between 1994 and 2024, 30 years of democracy, xenophobic attacks in South Africa killed 669 people. Displaced 127,000. Destroyed over 5,000 businesses. 669 Africans killed by Africans. On African soil. While the people who actually own the inequality, who actually control the wealth that never reached the township, watched from a distance and said nothing. Because as long as the anger flows sideways, neighbor against neighbor, township against foreigner, it never flows upward to where it belongs. My father understood this. He didn't come to South Africa to compete with you. He came because the same system that failed you failed his country first. The same colonial architecture, the same extraction, the same borders drawn by people who didn't live inside them. He came because Southern Africa was supposed to be, has always been, a shared space, where Mozambicans helped shelter South Africans fleeing apartheid, where Zambia hosted ANC offices during the liberation struggle, where the whole region understood, without being asked, that what happened to South Africa happened to all of us. And we helped. Because we are the same people. We were always the same people. He came here with his hands. And someone used their hands to take him from me. And called it taking the country back. There is no country to take back. The country was never the problem. The line was the problem. The lie that the line told, that the person on the other side of it is fundamentally different from you. That was the problem. And the people who benefit from you believing that lie, who need you angry at your brother instead of at the system, they are still benefiting right now, while you listen to this. So I am not asking for sympathy. I am not asking you to feel sorry for my family. I am asking you to look at the person you are about to call a foreigner and recognize your own face, your own history, your own blood, 3,000 years old, moving across the same land. Before anyone taught you that movement was a crime, my father moved the way our people have always moved. And he should have been able to come home. Before he left, he said something to me. Not a speech, not a lesson. The way fathers say important things, quietly, without announcing that it matters. He said, Pamoja tutafika. We, as Africans, move forward together. Or not at all. He didn't say it as a warning. He said it like it was obvious. Like the sun rising. Like something so fundamentally true that only a fool or a history of deliberate forgetting could make you doubt it. He crossed that border carrying those words like they were protection enough. They weren't. And that is the part I cannot reconcile. He was right. The words are true. The philosophy is real. The ancestry is shared. Every single thing this video has told you is accurate. And he is still gone. We have a word on this continent, Ubuntu. Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. A person is a person through other persons. We didn't borrow that word. We didn't import it. We made it. From this soil. From this blood. From the same 3,000-year-old understanding that the person walking toward you across the land is not your enemy. He is the continuation of you. The Zulu child and the Zimbabwean child share the same great-grandmother. They just don't know her name anymore. We built Ubuntu. We exported Ubuntu. The world quotes Ubuntu. Corporations named themselves after Ubuntu. Universities teach Ubuntu. And somewhere between building it and teaching it, we forgot to live inside it. 669 of our own people, killed by our own hands, on our own soil, and we called it justice. So which is it? Are we one people, or were we only one people when it was convenient? Was Ubuntu always real? Or was it just something beautiful we said when we needed to feel better about who we are? Is the hatred we have for each other learned, or did we always have it? And the borders just gave it a direction. I don't have the answer. My father might have had it, but my father isn't here. What I know is this. The same mouth that says Ubuntu can call a man a foreigner. The same hands that clap for Pamoja can burn a shop. The same people who marched against apartheid watched their neighbors chase a Mozambican down a street and close the curtain. Pamoja Tutafika. We move forward together, or not at all. My father chose together. The continent chose otherwise. And until we reconcile that contradiction, we are not moving forward. We are not moving at all. We are one people. We have always been one people. The question that should keep you awake tonight is not whether that is true. The question is, what kind of people allow this to happen to themselves?